Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here. My name is Blake, and I love music. Today, we are going back in time to review an album from prog legends Yes, with their album Close to the Edge. I have very little experience with this group besides the song Roundabout, which I think most people probably know. I used to play the shit out of that song in Rock Band, and then of course it's very popular from JoJo. I also don't have a lot of experience with prog as a genre, so this is a little bit of uncharted territory for me, but I feel like I like a lot of genres that take a lot of inspiration from prog, especially early prog. So I'll let you know, I'm going to apologize up front for any information I get wrong. I feel like tackling a project as old and beloved as this can be kind of daunting to cover, just because it's been around for so long and so many people know so much about it and have really strong opinions on it. But my process for reviewing this album is the same as I do for all my albums. I try to go in completely blind. I take notes along the way, and then I do some research on the production of the album afterwards. Before we get into the music itself, I just want to give a little bit of background, because there is a lot of history with this. This is the fifth studio album from UK group Yes. The album came out in 1972, which was pretty much like forever ago. I won't go into all the details about how the album was made, but doing my research and reading about it, it seemed like there was a lot of disagreement from the members of the group about the direction the album should take. It seems like there was a lot of late nights staying up in the studio, recording, and they were talking about how the sun was coming up and they were still recording. But their attention to detail was just impeccable on this album. They even built a stage inside the studio so that it could feel like they were doing it live. It's kind of crazy. I feel like some of the best albums in history have come out from groups when they're personally at their worst. You know what I mean? Like the group members are mad at each other, or they're going through the toughest time as a group is when they make their best music. Abbey Road is a good example. Rumors by Fleetwood Mac is a good example. And I don't know what that has to do with, what that pattern is that but it seems to be the case here for this album, because we'll get into it, but this album is incredible. The album is only 3 songs long. The title track itself is a little over 18 minutes long, but honestly this title track could have gone twice as long, and I really wouldn't have mind. It starts with water flowing and birds chirping, nature sounds, and as soon as the song started, I closed my eyes and I sat there, and it instantly brought me to a specific place. Actually, there's a spot up in northern Arizona where I like to go for camping or just to go enjoy nature, and there's this bridge with this stream that goes underneath it, and I like to go, there's these big rocks in the middle of the stream, and I like to go kind of out onto the rocks and just sit. There's this one huge rock in particular you can actually lay on, and I'll go lay on it and just listen to the water flowing and stuff. It's surreal. It's beautiful. And this song instantly brought me to that specific location. It was really cool. I also want to bring up too that the singer Anderson, he had stated that the intro to this song was actually inspired by legendary electronic artist and trans icon Wendy Carlos, who, if you're not familiar with Wendy Carlos, her list of accomplishments is too much to put into one video to even talk about. But pretty much music wouldn't be where it is today without Wendy Carlos, especially electronic music. So it's really cool to see that she's so inspirational that even something this is a prog nature opening to a song, she inspired that. I just thought that was super cool. So yeah, it starts with that. Then around the 1 minute mark, the guitar finally kicks in, and it has this almost lazy tempo to it, but the tone of the guitar is so unique. I really haven't heard a guitar sound exactly like that before. Honestly, unique is a descriptor I could use for pretty much this entire album. I wrote in my notes while listening to this that it reminds me almost of jazz, especially this opening section. Like, it sounds like it's improv, and I mean that in the best way possible. Which actually, when I did my research on the album after listening to it, yeah, Anderson had mentioned that like jazz was a huge inspiration for especially the beginning portions of this track. The pacing on this song is, and actually the whole album, but this song specifically is just exceptional. Like, it really quickly goes from some of the most like beautiful music you've heard. It gives you this like out of body kind of feeling, and then just the guitars come in and they're ripping, and the drums are really groovy. And it does all that within just like an instant, but it's so effective. Every single minute of this song feels different from the previous minute, but it still fits together into one coherent song. Like, you can tell you're listening to the same song. It's not one of those songs you stop to check your phone, you're like, wait, did this switch? Like, no, you can tell, but at the same time, it goes through so many different phases and almost acts, which when you look at the song like on Spotify, there's like 5 separate titles for it. It like breaks down into, so there are like 5 distinct parts of the song, I guess. I'm not sure what the name is for each of them. The 4-minute mark is where 2 things really stood out to me that kind of persisted throughout the rest of this listening. The first is the amazing bass playing, and the second would be the cool ass writing. The writing is so cool. The lyrics on this album, I'm ashamed to admit that as an aspiring bassist, I was not familiar with Chris Squire's game. I honestly hadn't even heard his name. But now that I am familiar, I cannot get enough of his playing. It's some of the most inventive bass lines I've ever heard, and I've never heard a song change like between different bass lines so many times. I mean, it helps that it's 18 minutes long, but even within just the first 5 minutes, the amount of different bass lines is just crazy. And the writing is just so cool throughout this review. I'll kind of bring up some different lyrics that stood out to me, but like around this part in the song, there's this line, "A dewdrop can exalt us like the music of the sun." Like, what the fuck? It's so cool. I don't know what that means, but it's awesome. But yeah, as a music nerd, like, this song is just brilliant. I can hardly tell what time signature it's in most of the time. There isn't really a boring or predictable moment even. It's very unpredictable. But once again, the pacing is so good that there's ample parts in the song as well that kind of just let you chill out and bob your head and enjoy the music. Around the 8-minute mark, we get another awesome transition with the guitar and the bass, so like matching each other, and then this organ kind of starts to creep in. This part, like, I literally felt like I was ascending to heaven. Like, it was like, I have to take an edible and listen to the song. In fact, it's Sunday right now. I'm gonna take an edible and listen to this album later today, because holy shit. But yeah, this specifically, the 8 to 14 minute mark of this song is some of the best music I've ever heard in my life, period. Like, my eyes were actually, I was tearing up listening to this because of just how beautiful it was. The lyrics too, "In her white lace, you could clearly see the lady sadly looking, saying that she'd take the blame for the crucifixion of her own domain." And then it's followed by this like repeated, like, "I get up, I get down" from Anderson. Anderson's voice just fits this album so well, and the music that they're doing. Then the organ comes back in like really strong. The fucking organ in the song is just so cool. Like, the 13-minute mark especially, my jaw was on the floor. It is just superb, the organ on this. And then around 14 minutes, it just crashes right back into the music with, there's like these crazy sounding, I think it's keyboard, like it sounds like keys. It's just really unique. And that's about the part in the song where it hit me how incredible their keyboard player is. I'm not sure who was playing it on this album, but each member of this group is just so talented and so skilled at their instrument. It's really something to behold. But yeah, I mean, I could go on and on about this song. I really could. Like, I could make a whole review, 30 minutes of just this song probably. But it just feels like one of those songs that you could listen to for like 50 years and find something new that stands out to you each time. I know people say this a lot about older music, but I genuinely cannot imagine listening to this in 1972. I just feel like the 70s were such a huge leap forward for music, and songs and albums like this kind of prove why. And that's just the first song. There's 3 songs on this album. The second song, which is titled And You and I, which is kind of weird to say, but it comes in at a short 10 minutes. I love the intro to this song. Like, it's mixed in such a way that it feels like I'm sitting in the studio with them. It has much more of like a folk feel to it at the start. I don't know, this song's just so cool too. I wrote in my notes, I literally just wrote "Prague is so sick, what the fuck," like in my notes. There's this really cool like aliens sounding, I think it's a synth, kind of near the beginning as well. There's this really sweet transition at the like 3-minute 45-second mark to where it slows down and it's like extremely psychedelic. It's one of the highlights of the whole album for me. While this part was playing specifically, I wrote down, I was like, I feel like I'm God looking down at Earth after creating it. And keep in mind, I was completely sober listening to this the first time. Just listen to some of these lyrics. Sad preacher, nailed upon the corridor of time. Insane teacher, be there reminded of the rhyme. There'll be no mutant enemy we shall certify. Political ends as sad remains will die. I mean, it's like poetry. And this song also follows the trend of the first song where it has this like slowed down section in the middle, except this song kind of continues that like folk feeling instead of like the heavy organs. The writing on this song is just an absolute standout. It gives me this like hopeful feeling, like the future will be okay. It's really cool. And then the final song just comes out the gate swinging. A very different start compared to the other two. That fucking bass line near the beginning of the song, and then the guitar is playing these like blistering quadruplets. It's just incredible. It's a glorious bass line. The vocal harmonies are also a standout on this track too. It's definitely the grooviest song on the record, I would say. I love like the 2-minute mark, the tambourine comes in, and it's just really catchy. But specifically the bass on this song is some of the best bass playing I've ever heard on any song. It's actually mind-blowing how good it is. The vocals as well at the 420 mark are probably my favorite vocals on the whole record. Yeah, it's just this song is so good. I love later in the song he's just kind of singing, like it's just like 2 words or like 2 phrases back to back. Like he'll be like cover, lover, heart gold, lever, called out, savior, just like this. Yeah, it's really cool just near the end. The final 2 minutes of the song as well are really just musical perfection. I literally I closed my eyes and just like soaked it in. I didn't put any notes or anything. I was just enjoying it. So yeah, I honestly don't really know how to properly express my feelings for this album. I feel like this is almost less of a review and more of me just geeking out about how goddamn amazing this album is. This is probably one of the easiest 10 out of 10s I'll ever give, and it really makes me want to get more into prog music and explore more of Yes's discography, because this is right up my alley, and it's amazing. If you like music at all, I think you should give this a shot. If you've heard other of Yes's music but you haven't listened to this album all the way through, please listen to it. And it's one of those albums, you know, don't listen to it like while you're working or doing something. You have to like sit down, put in some good headphones, and just enjoy it start to finish. It's incredible. So Leonard, he also gave this album a listen. He wrote, "As a chipmunk, I find this album slightly offensive," but he said he let it slide. And he also wrote "Close to the Edge of What," and his rating is Prog Champ. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.